Alright, so let's talk Friday night. Friday night, last Friday night. How many of you went to the dance after the game? Yeah? Like typical high school dance where the girls actually dance and the guys stand awkwardly in the back?
Yeah.
Right?
We were doing it.
Okay. So, what'd you have to pay to get in after the football game?
$2.
2? Where's the money go?
Here.
Who put it on?
I don't know.
You don't know who put the dance on. You just heard there was a dance and you went by.
Yep. Seniors.
Not the seniors, but
Student council thing.
student council put it on. So all the money went to the student council. So what did they use that money for? What's part of the money have to go for? What? To fund the dance. So like, was there a DJ?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got to pay the DJ. I would guess that they probably didn't have decorations. No decorations, probably not. For the ones that happen at the football game. The bigger ones like homecoming, they'll have to decorate wherever they have that. Okay. So, where do you think the money, whatever their profit was, if they made a profit, where do you think the profit goes? So all the money that the student council makes off of that dance, where do you think that goes? What's that? Kind of. They'll make a donation at the end of it. Most of it will go back into the student council fund so that they can fund other stuff. Homecoming dance, prom, and those types of things. Okay? So, here's what I want you to do. All right, so the freshman class recently had a dance. Student council had to borrow $400 from the seniors to put the dance on, but you made $100 in profit on the dance after the money was paid back. If the admission cost was $4 per person, how many of the freshmen attended? And this is what I want you and your partner to do. You need to jot your answers down on a sheet of scratch paper. Here's my question. How does the algebra match the story problem? And write down all of the things that you can come up with. And then my second question is, how does the graph match the story problem? Okay, you have 5 minutes. Okay. The answer's there. Why did I set this up the way that I did? And how does this match what's in the story problem? And then how does this graph match the story problem? That's the 2 things that I want you to talk about and answer.
Yeah, okay.
Because, well,
Well, yeah, the ads.
the money.
I said 100. The 100 was equal 100. But still 500 is not profit. Well, 100 is profit.
I think so.
I said the equation. Tell me why. Why is that how I do it? I mean, how, so if I gave you this story, you have to set it up on your own. Why would you set it up
Why
like
did you set it
that?
up like that?
What?
Like in the graph?
But why?
Yeah.
How do you know what was real?
Is because the senior class.
Why have you always done it that way?
There's that. And then.
So, how come I didn't say minus 100 equals 400? Read the problem, take a look at the problem, see if you can justify why I put the numbers where I did. Heaven forbid, you think a little bit in my class, right?
Because they went down more and stuff. And the negative 400 is the y intersection.
I know this part.
I'll make sure to join you.
Because they get started negative and then they had to go up and that's where they met. So then they kept on going past it and they made more money.
About another minute.
Okay, it can't just be the money for the blue. Because it goes like 125 over for the peak.
I better wait.
The blue is money and Swivl. They live like one house
Yeah, I
away from each
know.
other.
They're like, their houses are like that. Yeah.
So you're not really good.
Okay, so this is your house. Your house is like, right, yeah. I drove past this red. Oh, I know. I noticed that last year, at the end of the year. I know.
You know what I'm
That's how I roll.
Okay.
Did you like that at one point?
Yeah, Ben, no, you like grew, so it's like, whatever you did, yeah.
Everybody grow. Not me.
It was like, okay, this was Erica, you, and now it's you.
Okay,
No,
I think she's like,
yeah,
whoa.
you got like, she.
so here's my question. What do all of the pieces in this equation represent?
The X would be like the person, that's what you wanna know, or the two
Okay.
X.
So the variable is number of students, which in this case right now is unknown, right? Okay,
The 4 would be the money, like the price of the ticket.
okay. Price per ticket.
Negative 400 would represent the, like how much money do they order from the,
Okay. Negative 400 is the borrowed money,
yeah, and the 100 would be the profit.
100 is the profit. Okay. So that's what the numbers in the equation represent. That's what each of the pieces represent. So my question now is, why did I set this up the way that I did? Why did I take 4x minus 400 equal to 100? What's the 4x together give me? Yep.
The number of students going to the dance.
The x is the number of students going to the dance. What happens when I multiply it by 4? What does that value give me?
The amount that you made.
The amount of money that I made, right? For every student that came into the dance, I made $4 off of them. So if 10 people came in, I brought in $40. If 100 people came in, I brought in $400. Okay? Why minus 400?
Because they're like negative.
Well, they're negative, but they have to pay that back, right? And y equal to 100? That's their profit. Okay? So, all of the pieces to this equation I can get from the story problem. Okay? How about the graph? How does the graph that I have there relate to what's in the story problem? Yep.
The point where the tickets and the amount of money you made will then meet, that relates to what your profits will be.
So the point where they meet here is where my profit is going to be. Okay? I agree with that. How do I know what my profit is? What's my profit going to be? 100, right? So not only do I know what my profit's going to be, but this is where my profit is going to be 100, right? What else? How does the graph relate to what's in the story problem? Take it from the algebra, okay? My 100 profit, do you agree that that's here? Right? So now here's my next question. How is the negative 400, or the amount of money that I borrowed from the seniors, how is that shown on the graph?
It's the y-intercept.
It's the y-intercept. Okay? How is the 4 represented in the graph?
Slope.
The slope of the line. Okay? 4, the price per ticket. This is a rate, right? $4 per person, 50 miles per hour, right? 40 hours per week. They're all rates of change. So the price per ticket is my rate of change. And the most common rate of change that you're used to dealing with in your algebra classes is the slope of the line. So the $4, or this 4, my price per ticket, that's how much I make. That's my rate of change. So that's going to be the coefficient on my x, or in terms of my graph, that's going to be the slope of this line. Okay, so here's my next question. I would like to think that by now you can justify these algebraic steps, right? I have to add 400 to both sides, then I have to divide by 4 and solve for x. My question is this. I solve the algebra out and I get 125. The point where these intersect is at 125. Should the answers be the same? Yes or no? Should they be the same? Yes? Why? Why should my answers to the algebra and to the graph be the same? Any ideas? What's different about, oh, go ahead. No. What do you think the equation of this line is? This blue line. Think about all the pieces and where we got it. What's the equation of the blue line gonna be? Okay, 4x minus 400. So this line represents this piece of this equation. What's the equation of the orange line?
100.
Y equal 100. So I have 100 here. I have 100 here. So do you agree that these two lines, two sides of this equation, and these two lines represent the same thing? So if they represent the same thing, should the answers be the same? Yes or no? Okay. So what I've done here is I've solved this particular story problem algebraically. And what I've done here is I've solved the same story problem graphically. Okay? Why do you think it's important to make a connection between the algebra and the graph? In other words, these two things represent the exact same thing. Why is it important to be able to go from one to the other? Talk to your partner about it. You have 2 minutes. Why is it important to go to make connections between the algebra and the graph?
Why is she saying that?
Um,
Why is she saying?
Got it? Come up with something. This is why I love these calculators. I can come up with a random number generator and we can pick on someone.
As soon as I give you the equation.
8, 11. 1 through 11, and I need 1. Are you ready? 11. Start in that corner. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So between the three of you, why is it important for me to be able to make connections between the algebra and the graph? What'd you come up with?
So you know you're right, you can check on the graph.
So I can double check things on the graph. Why else would I want to make connections between the algebra and the graph? I can check things on the graph. What else? Any other ideas that you talked about? Somebody had to have talked about something different. Yep. Yes, I can go one way or the other. You understand that? I can come up with the graph first. If I understand how to make the connections from the story problem to the graph, I can come up with the graph first and then check it with algebra. Or if you have a mind like mine, you come up with the algebra first, and then you can transfer it to a graph. And you can use one method to check your answer to the other method. Okay? Anybody come up with anything different? Anything else? All right, so here's what I want you to do. Take out your folders. You got out your folders and I want you to take a look at your maps. Yep. Not the factor. This. For the unit. Okay. Everything we've done up until this point has all been dealing with graphs. Right? We went in and we did standard form, we did slope intercept form, we did the horizontal and vertical lines, and we did absolute value. Yesterday we went in and you went through stations to make sure that you knew how to graph all of those. Now we're going to get into the algebra piece where you solve one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, which basically means the variable on both sides, and absolute value equations. But not only are you going to do those algebraically, you're also going to be able to check them because we're also going to do them graphically. Does that make sense? So now you're going to take the algebra piece and you're going to make sure that you can set something up with algebra and with a graph. And you're going to do it both ways. Okay. Questions about what we're going to do?